Welcome to 𝐄𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐂. We talk about investing, finance, or professional development. So current time of 8:56 a.m. on the Eastern Time on August 10th. I cannot believe it's already 10 day in August already. Ethereum conjured $1,811, up about 6.45% so far. Let's talk over crypto market. On both the crypto and the equity side, we are bright green this morning as the result from the confirmatory signal on the CPI report depicting the month of July. Seems out on a high level number, it has risen by 8.5%, which is less than expected as inflationary pressure seems to be easing back a bit. Okay, and let me just take a look at it on a high level synopsis on some of the key drivers. So price that consumer pays for various goods and services has risen by 8.5% in July from a year ago. Is a slower pace from the previous month due to a larger drop in the gas price, as you have seen so far, right? It was like $115 before to now about like $90 around per barrel. And on a monthly basis, prices were flat as energy prices broadly declined of 4.6% and gas fell by 7.7%. So it seems good, right? Driven by some of the key consumer drivers, gas and purchasing goods. That offsets a 1.1% monthly gain in food prices, 0.5% increase in shelter costs. And some of the economists that's also talked about on the media front, survey by Dow Jones, that we're expecting the headline CPI report to increase by 8.7%. So we're obviously a little bit below, and on an annual basis, 0.2% monthly. And if you exclude the volatile food and energy prices, the so-called core CPI has risen by 5.9% annually and 0.3% monthly. So if you compare that respectively to 6.1% and 0.5%, we have actually exceeded expectation positively on all marks. So I would say we got pretty much of an A plus of a report, if you get my drift, in terms of a positive signal. So that means that today we should be seeing some sort of a green day, and you could see that clearly with respect to the 10-year yields is also dipping, right? We are about like 2.7% in comparisons to months ago. We were about like 3.4% at one point. Oils, yeah, again at trading around like the $90.59 per barrel across the entire market. Dow Jones, S&P, NASDAQ all up about 2% on the future perspective. And obviously with those positive catalysts, it's a massive great report. The entire market on the crypto side is also basically surging up right now. Ethereum's going to be up about 7.12%. And you can see that we are meeting back at the next level upward of 65 out of 70. At the same time, we're still contemplating which way are we going, which is, that we've been quite elongated and quite dragged up. And we are basically holding up the mountain quite, strongly, if you may. But we're quite extended, so definitely be careful about this. I think we do have a likely propensity to go up to the 1860 as the next level, and then plunging all the way to 2000 if the bullishness really takes place. Contingent on like no more really negative news or headwind from the earnings. Obviously, we saw earnings coming up from the chip companies, the tech companies of the world, and also with respect to the corporate adjustments on the human capital front. The job numbers is also something that's foreshadows a negative, depictions onto the market outlook. So we'll see how that goes, right? But luckily, we have about like a month and a half of separation from now, which is like basically the last ultimatum before we go on to obviously September, which is late September, by the way, on the upcoming FOMC meeting, right? So we have a good level of separations of timing. So sustaining the bullishness without any like specific negative catalysts, right? I think something that we could probably think of, like maybe some like one-off miss on the corporate earnings side, or one-off miss with respect to obviously the the merge news around Ethereum specifically, which we talk about. But beside all of that, I would say all collectively really good news today. Really positive report. And I'm also seeing like news talking about with respect to the mortgage rates and the purchasing behavior around real estate markets. Also, like, seems like it's progressing nicely. Some other stuff that I'm also seeing is with respect to the recent earnings with Disney. Obviously, we heard about the actor Ezra Miller that plays Barry Allen or the Flash. Is charged with the criminal charges. I'm seeing Nikola, which is the electric truck company. Mark Russell is to retire at the end of this year. I mean, like the Nikola company, it's like very pump and dump, and we've seen a lot of like those scandalous type of news that just talking about this company for quite some time. I don't know. This might be just another media stunt. Another news that I'm also seeing here is the last one before I kind of go straight off to the technical is the Elon Musk. It seems like he sold close to 8 million shares of Tesla worth about 6.88 billion. Interesting. Not sure. I mean, maybe he sees something before. Maybe he needs some liquidation to be doing something. I don't know. Interesting. All right, so let me dive into the technicals. So with respect to recording time of 9:03 a.m. on the Eastern time. And you can see my hair is a little bit less glossy today. I think it turned out good. Like maybe I fixed it up okay this morning. I do have like a meeting today from basically 12:30 all the way to 5 today at the St. Regis. So we'll see how that goes. It's gonna be quite interesting. A long meeting, back to back, hopping in and out. So I plan on maybe having like a really big breakfast, and then dive into the lunch, like at 5. So like I typically don't eat when I'm working, but anyways. So let's dive into it. So right now we are obviously heading on to the next level, to 1850. We are up 7.5%, but remember we're quite extended right now, right? So very extended. We're still hitting the blockade, but weeks and months out, quite bullish, right? You could see that weeks is also hitting the blockade at 65 out of 70. Monthly obviously have some room to go up to, but it's not like, or it's like quite, extended daily and weekly. So what that means is that we ideally need to see some sort of a correction, right? But it's good that we got that positive signal. But now we have that 1 month of elongations of just like cool down period, seeing more higher pressure, like seeing it going all the way up to be extremely overbought to even higher level around like 75 out of 70 or 80 out of 70, depending on how bullish are the news, can be a possibility, right? Bitcoin, you could see that we are also getting matched with the resistance level, getting like deciding which way we're trying to go. Weeks out, quite bullish. We're about to form a golden cross, so very bullish, right? And months out, you could see that we've been plateauing for quite some time. So yeah, it's quite bullish, but again, right, quite extended as we have talked about already, right? So be careful. Just because like the report comes out positive, but ultimately we need to look at the technical, the tactical nature of the Fed's actions and the proactiveness of the plan going forward, right? Are we going to be going with 75 basis point, 1% going forward? What does it look like, And then for Classic, you could see that it's quite similar, right? You could see that we're getting basically blocked again. Obviously, it's being driven up by the entire market. Right now, still contemplating which way we're trying to go. But weeks out is quite negative, to be honest with you. It seems like it's trading on the opposite comparison. Dogecoin, I would say, is trading similarly to the other coins as well. Very extended. Like I'm doing, I want to cover all of these before I hop off, because I'm actually like, this is the last meeting I have with you guys today. So like right now it's 60, it's quite extended. At the same time, try to find ways to go up or down. So right now weeks out is quite bearish as well. So I think Dogecoin is quite bearish at the moment, with the level it's being sustained at the moment. But months out it looks bullish. So be careful of this one. Cardano, just looking on this on a daily, is quite extended as well, right? Let me just look at Solana just to double check. Quite extended as well. XRP is not as extended, but it's still, you know, it's still kind of like consolidating at the higher levels in comparison. So it's not the best setup. Polkadot up quite high as well, very extended. Algorand is okay, but it's on the opposite side of the spectrum, so it's more zigzags going, you know, happening. Shiba Inu is very extended at 60 out of 70. Polygon's up 4.5%, quite extended. We're gonna go up to the next level to like 70, or the highest to 80. But like, you know, it seems like this looks like a more of like upward wedge. So I think breaking this is more likely. AVAX up close to 9% so far. Very extended, obviously, 71 out of 70. And then look at Tesla, it's up like 5% so far. I mean, obviously it's being mitigated from the news about Elon Musk selling that much shares that we talked about earlier. But it's still good. It's pointing in the right direction, right? So I think collectively the overall market is, you know, short-term wise, very extended, right? And we got this like positive push today from this positive CPI report, which is A plus, right? So, but seeing some normalization and correction, be just like people taking profit because they don't want to get spooked by the upcoming FOMC meeting again with the rate hikes, can be a possibility, right? So let me know how it goes. It's a good day today, definitely, and you know, mitigating from the days of sell-off, 3 days of sell-off basically, onto converting into this positive day now. So that makes total sense. I appreciate you and have a good day and take care.